Thank you very much for joining us this evening on Capital Market. I'm Temple Ashaju. As we take off with the program, you may wish to join the conversation on Twitter, TV, and at CTV Temple. Let's start off right now. We know already that Fitch Ratings assigned an initial B+ rating to Nigeria's upcoming dollar-denominated Eurobonds issue this week. And that's in line with the B+ rating and negative outlook for the country's long-term foreign currency issuer default rating, as well as its long-term local currency. Also this week, we saw that President Muhammadu Buhari's request to secure a $5.5 billion Eurobond was approved by the Senate. Now, the go-ahead came after the lawmakers considered the report from its Committee on Local and Foreign Debts. But wait a minute and let's reflect on those who make investments in these instruments possible for you investors to buy. Aren't they, the stockbrokers, significant? Your guess is as good as mine because the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers commemorated the 25th anniversary this week and honored 3 past presidents who left phenomenal prints in the Nigerian capital markets. And on the program this evening, we'll be privileged to see highlights of the event and their plans for the next 25 years. But so what do we have in the news? We'll start off with the MPC meeting. The Central Bank's Committee Policy meeting is set to convene for the 6th and final time for this year on Monday the 20th and Tuesday the 21st next week. Analysts at AfroInvest do not expect to see any form of rate cut as headline inflation is still far off from the target range of 7 to 9% and above the benchmark policy rate of 14%. The analyst also projects that the near-term outlook still favors easing as guided by the CBN governor in recent comments. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics is scheduled to release its the Q3 2017 GDP report on Monday the 20th as well. Following the continued pickup in economic activities, Maritime Securities expects the economy to maintain its positive stance as it forecasts GDP growth at 1.09% year-on-year. According to Maritime Securities, the 2016 strong base effects is expected to weigh on the economy's growth alongside several assumptions. Now let's look at what the CIS has in terms of its 25th anniversary. The Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers commemorated its 25th anniversary this week with the closing of the markets at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Afterwards, the traders took the celebration to Broad Street and marched through the busy arena. The president of the institute, Mr. Oluseyi Abe, told us in an interview what the celebration meant for the market and the plans for the next 25 years.
It means the institute has evolved, over the years. The CIS was chartered by Act 105 of 1992, which makes this year 25 years of existence. If you have a child of 25 years, there are some expectations, the child should be tending towards maturity, and that is what has happened to CIS. It has been rough. In the period of 25 years, I think we've had what we can call market recession twice or thereabout. There was one in 1997, and there was another one in 2006, 2007. But our brokers has evolved, as resilient. They have weathered the storms, and CIS has weathered the storms. But the major one is that the CIS wants to bring all professional practitioners in the capital market space under one umbrella, which is why we are starting our omnibus exams, in March. What do I mean is that you will be certified on your core areas. If you're a fixed income dealer, yes, you'll be certified in that angle. If you are equity dealer, you'll be certified in that respect. If you're a commodity broker, you'll be certified. If you're, everybody in the capital market under one umbrella. What we are doing is that once we have everybody under the same umbrella, the market becomes easily to regulate, then the government can deal with us, based on our qualifications and all that. And you notice that if we do that successfully, infractions will be minimized in the market.
Mr. Oluseyi Abe, the president of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. And still with these brokers, as part of the activities lined up for the celebration, the brokers this week honored 4 main dignitaries for their contributions to the Nigerian capital market. Former heads of state, retired General Yakubu Gowon and retired General Ibrahim Babangida, as well as former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Nigeria's born Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, were also honored. Retired General Gowon, who was present and was awarded the Honorary Fellow of the Institute for establishing the Indigenous Decree of 1972. And that's the decree that gave birth to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Let's move on now to some other parts of the meeting of the stockbrokers, and that's the challenge posed to the stockbrokers to adapt to the changing dynamics of the financial markets. The Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Mr. Munir Guazo, presented fintech as the next game changer for stockbroking in Nigeria.
Fintech, financial technology also known as fintech, is an industry composed of companies that use new technology and innovation with available resources in order to compete in the marketplace of traditional financial institutions and intermediaries in the delivery of financial services. And when we look at the US market, and you look at the market capitalization of some of these companies, if you look back in the last 10 years and now, you realize that the first 5 companies that are topping the market capitalization are actually technology companies, which were not those companies about 10 years ago. Almost everything now comes down to the application of relevant technology. In fact, at the nucleus of that